Welcome to Music Forever, a podcast by the New Horizons International Music Association. I am Irene Cohen. Jack Conway has been a music educator for 33 years at elementary and high school level, including serving as band director in Cincinnati, Ohio, at Moeller and Badin High School. He also taught band, jazz band, choir, and other music courses in the Lakota School District. He was a member of the Ohio Music Education Association during his teaching career. Jack has been a trombone performer for over 45 years in swing bands in the Cincinnati area, including the Blue Chip City Big Band, the Oscar Gamby Big Band, and the Jump and Jive Show Band. He has also performed with several Dixieland Bands. Jack was one of the organizers and music directors of the Cincinnati New Horizons music camps in 2023 and 2024. Jack tells his story about his rich music upbringing, his career, his love for swing music, and his enjoyment teaching New Horizons musicians. Well, hello, Jack.
Well, hello, Irene.
Thanks for doing this interview. It's wonderful to have you here.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. So here we are at the second Cincinnati music event in beautiful Lawrenceburg. You've done an outstanding job in organizing this camp, so thank you so much.
Well, it's a team, and the team's led by Russ Rosen, and he does a great job, so we follow his lead.
Yeah, for sure. Tell us a little bit about how music got in your life.
Well, I had music at home a lot. My dad was an Irish tenor, and he accompanied himself on the piano, but he just loved to sing. He loved the big band music, and he had played it all the time, so I was surrounded by that growing up. But the actual instrumental part is like almost every band musician. We start in fifth grade, we pick out our instrument, or the director picks it out for us in my case, because I ended up playing the baritone horn. Not a super popular instrument, but that's what they needed. So I ended up playing that. And I got started in the fifth grade band, and I've been in the bands ever since. So that's always been a fun thing for me to do. So it was just great.
Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in lots of different places, but my musical part started in New Jersey, part of northern New Jersey, and I got my high school experience there, taught by a very, very wonderful trombonist who was an Eastman graduate. So it was a very, very wonderful experience and kept me interested going beyond just doing the high school music. Mm-hmm. So I eventually decided, well, I want to be a music professional, not as a player, but as an educator. That was my pursuit.
So you started as a kid on a baritone horn, you say?
I did.
And then you must have started other instruments as well at some point.
Yes, I played the baritone horn in the concert band, but I had a love of playing jazz music. So there are not a lot of calls for baritone horn and jazz music. So I just picked up the trombone. I think my first trombone cost $50. Had to get it cleaned up, and I just started playing the trombone in our jazz band in the high school, and I took to it, and I loved it. And I did the same thing when I was in college. I was doing the education program, but I just loved playing in the jazz band. So I was continuing to take trombone lessons to better that skill.
Mm-hmm. So you consider that to be your main instrument?
Trombone is my main instrument now.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And so where did you end up going to school?
I went to Miami University here in Ohio. My mother had taken classes at Miami when we lived in the Cincinnati area. My dad worked for the Formica Corporation, whose home office was here in Cincinnati. So we spent time here, and she had gone to Miami University, so it was just one of the schools that I applied to. Well, fortunately, that school needed euphonium players, and I played euphonium. So they wanted me to go in there, so I started at Miami. Graduating from college, looking around for jobs, just trying to find something that was available, because that was pretty tough in those years. That was 1975. And a job opened up in Cincinnati from a person that I knew. So I jumped at it, took that job, and it was high school plus a little bit of elementary work where I could find it. It was a Catholic school, which means that they didn't really have like elementary music, middle school, junior high music, didn't have that. So we had to go out to the individual parishes and their schools and recruit kids to play and teach them there, and then eventually bring them on to the high school and play. So I was a high school band director for 19 years. Part of it was at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, and then at Badin High School in Hamilton area, which is just a little bit north of Cincinnati. I enjoyed it. I loved the kids, loved the families. It was just a lot of fun to do. I had been away because of high school bands from everything that my kids did in music, because music is an after-school weekend activity, and I was always with one of my bands trying to do all that also. So when my daughter became the field commander, which is the director of their marching band on the field, her first year was her sophomore year, and I never saw her once do that. So I just finally said, enough is enough. So I took a job as an elementary music teacher, band director, music teacher, and that left my weekends free. So I was able to go to her contests and her football games and things and see her do that. So that was a good experience for me. It was the right choice to do. But I got into a position where I was just teaching elementary band, sixth grade beginning band. I did it for 12 years. I loved it. I could have done it forever. They're just wonderful kids to work with. You see such great progress in kids that are that age, and it's a lot of fun.
It's interesting you mentioned that really family reasons. You said, I need to change gears here so that I have these weekends available. How many kids do you have?
We have two.
Yeah.
Both of them played. My oldest daughter was a flute player. My youngest daughter was a violin player and keyboard player. She took some keyboard lessons, and she was in their marching band playing the keyboard instruments. So, yeah, both of them had music experience.
Mm-hmm, very nice. So the DNA is there. It just keeps going.
We hope.
Yes.
My grandson plays trombone, so, yeah, a little bit of DNA.
How old is he now?
He's 15. Yeah, he's in high school.
You mentioned earlier that your father was an Irish tenor.
Yep.
Why don't you explain what that means?
Well, there are singers that are Irish and have a high-pitched voice are the Irish tenors, but they're also the soloists. So you can think of, if you've ever seen some of the Celtic shows and so forth, there are always men that come on who have those high voices, and it fits the Irish songs that they sing. And in my family, when we get together, the Irish side of the family, there was always parties, and he would always get up and sing. Always get up and sing. That's one of the things I remember about my youth, which was fine. I mean, it was great to see all that happening, everybody enjoying the entertainment, but he couldn't pass up a chance to do that. Mm-hmm. He was always doing that. So he had a piano at home, and he would play. It was fun. Unfortunately, they never made me take piano lessons. So when I got into music school, that was one of the things that really I had to work at because I never had it as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Do you sing as well?
I do sing. I've sung in my church choir for over 30 years, so I enjoy that part of it. I sing bass. I don't sing like the lead parts or anything, but I've always enjoyed that. It's just been a lot of fun for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like a very rich musical background that you have.
It is, and it's just been great to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
So at some point in time, New Horizons came on your horizon.
Yeah, that's another story in itself. The Cincinnati New Horizons group was founded by a person that I knew from professional playing, doing the marching band thing, because we would do some events together. So he knew who I was, I knew who he was. But he called me up one day, said he needed an instructor for the less experienced musicians. He wanted to have somebody come in as, well, I would give it a try and see what happened. So I did that in the first year and a little bit in the second year. And then he was kind of fading himself out of doing the big directing part, and they needed people to take over. So now there are three of us who divide the duties of directing the Cincinnati New Horizons band, and it's working out great. And I'm back in conducting, which I hadn't done for a couple of years. So I really enjoy it. And for me, it's always about the progress. You start with the reading through of the music, and then you do little tweaks here and there. You encourage the people to learn these different things in their parts, and the new techniques you can teach them to help them move into a higher plane of their own playing has always been fascinating for me, and I just love to do it.
So here you are, standing suddenly in front of a crowd that, needs reading glasses and that sort of thing, and hearing aids to get it going. Is there any difference between teaching those younger kids and people here in New Horizons?
Yes. The young kids never got my jokes. So the New Horizons people are just fun. They really are. So, you can talk with them and joke with them and just kind of make the whole thing a light experience. And they love that because it's a very social aspect of being part of a New Horizons band. They just love communicating with each other. They love encouraging each other. And basically, these are just the nicest people you ever want to meet. They really are.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there. It's just so much fun. And how long have you been affiliated with the New Horizons?
Oh, I'd have to think back because I'm not really sure. It's got probably 8 years, maybe 9, that I've been doing it with New Horizons.
Yes. And then Russ Rosen got you into some more trouble and said, why don't you help organizing these camps?
Yes, he did. But, I have the experience doing camps for high school because I used to do the band camps every year. So I understand the organization of it and have to get how the little parts have to come together and how you can't do it without help. Yeah. That's very, very true. So, it was fine. I enjoyed doing the work. And again, I got to meet all the NEMA people who are experienced at doing this and getting all kinds of advice. So that helped a lot.
So this is the second time that you're running the camp here. In which way do you think this is helping or enriching your own group here in Cincinnati?
Well, I think it's great for our group to know that there are so many people out there interested in music who are just like them. They have little struggles with this or struggles with that, and so much help from the extra people who are coming in and giving them advice. I think that's great for our local group as well as the people in the national group.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of groups don't even know that there are other New Horizons groups out there. And then when they organize these camps or they come to camps, they find out there is so much programming out there.
And they find out they're just like them. Yeah. They're all the same.
Yeah, absolutely. You are teaching swing band beside doing some other classes here. The swing band program is very popular. It's a large band here.
So my experience with swing band started when I was in high school and enjoyed doing it. And I've been doing it ever since. I never stopped. I've played in many, many swing bands as a regular musician, as a sub-musician, and I still do it to this day. And it's one of the reasons that I wanted to have that experience for the New Horizons people, because a lot of them didn't understand what swing music was all about, didn't realize how much fun they could have if they were playing it. So I started the New Horizons Swing Band with some just basic, easy swing charts to make them feel comfortable playing the swing music. So we've been doing this for now probably 6 years. Our swing band has been doing this, and it's just been a great experience for me and for them. So it keeps me in that genre. So my radio in my car is tuned to the swing stations.
Wow, fantastic. You got to tell me later which stations those are. Yesterday on the riverboat cruise, the Dixieland Band was playing. Can you tell us a little bit about how that all came about?
Well, the Dixieland Band was actually in progress before I joined the Cincinnati New Horizons organization. They just asked me to sit in and help the people because I have jazz experience. They had all the music already, and they did have a core group of personnel. So I just add to it and try not to intimidate anybody. Just do what I do and help the others with any type of organizational things, how the music is set up, and if there's anything we can add to help them make their individual solos better, things like that. But the Dixieland Band's been around in our New Horizons band for a long time.
Fantastic. Now, they are giving quite a bit of performances, is my understanding.
We do. I'm sure it would add up to over 20 performances a year for that particular band. And most of them are about an hour in length, which is a good length for the endurance of the musicians. After it goes for past an hour, it starts to slip a little bit. But as you notice, when we were playing on our riverboat cruise, we have a wonderful singer and a couple other singers that add in also, and that gives it some variety to the Dixieland music. It's not just the instruments. And it lets people know that there is not just one single style of Dixieland music. There are several different styles.
Well, I think you should just give a virtual talk about the different styles of Dixie and swing and so on, because that seems to be your area.
That could be coming up next.
That could be coming up next. Stay tuned. In which way is teaching swing different from teaching a concert band?
Well, most musicians learn with very strict counting of rhythms, and their concentration is focused on that. How many beats am I playing? How many beats am I resting? And on it goes. Where jazz music focuses a lot on the feel. How does the music feel? Because it's not strict, like strict eighth notes that you have to play in concert band. So a lot of it, you have to just feel the music, feel the phrases and the entrances and the exits. What I do with both the Cincinnati group and in our camps is I try to get some of the basic musical conventions of swing band down before we actually see the music. And that really, really helps, because reading some of these rests and unusual rhythms, syncopation and things they put into it is not natural for everybody. So going over that at a basic level gives them confidence that, yes, I can play this.
Yes, it's tremendous. And it's very nice to see the effort that you put into it, but also the results that come out at the other end. Within days, people start understanding the basics of jazz and swing music. And there are some experienced players. You are opening it up to all instruments, flutes, clarinets, and so on.
That's kind of a modern thing. It used to be that arrangers of music never did that for instruments like flutes and clarinets and French horns and all of that. But now arrangements are coming out with those parts in them inclusive. Because in the past, I have written out parts to get those people to play, which was nice. But now that the publishers are doing it themselves, it's a real help. Because they understand that people who run bands and the kids who are in them have an interest in doing that. But not all of them play a traditional swing band instrument. But why not have them learn how to play the techniques, because it's universal.
Yeah, 100%. If there was somebody who would come to you and say, I've never been to one of these camps, should I come? I mean, that's a chunk of my time, and it means I have to travel and bring instruments. What would you tell them?
Well, first you tell them what they could get out of it. I mean, there's great people to meet. There are people who are in the stages that you are in your development. They're just like you, and they're going to enjoy it, and you will too. But you can get a lot out of it that you can bring back to your own organization of things that you learn, camaraderie that you have with all these people, and just say, there's a lot of people doing this, and they're doing really well at it and enjoying it at the same time.
And if somebody would come to you and say, well, hey, Jack, I hear you do this sort of work. I haven't played an instrument for 60 years, and it sort of scares me. I don't know what to do here. What would you tell them?
Well, first I'll tell them there's a place for you. That's the most important thing that New Horizons organizations are communicating. It doesn't matter what level you're on or what your aspirations are. There's a place for you. And we're not going to criticize you if you don't have the complete skills you think you should have, or if you think you've lost skills over the years. We're not going to mention any of that or talk about it. We're just there to see that you get the experience and the technique and the knowledge that you need to make it feel like you're having fun. And if you're not having fun, that makes it a little bit tougher. But I think everybody that we have in the New Horizons Band just says, wow, I can do this. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank you for everything you do here for your local organization, but also to give the gift of music to all these musicians who've traveled from far places.
Yeah, and it's a just amazing, fun bunch. So when anybody asks me about what the New Horizons feels like, just a lot of fun. Everybody's just enjoying themselves. They enjoy making music together. Nobody is criticizing anybody else. They're just adding to it and just having a wonderful time doing it.
Absolutely. If I could bottle the atmosphere that is here in this week here in Cincinnati, the smiles, the fun, the new friendships, the things that people share, it is something that is hard to describe in words.
It is very hard, but it's just you can see it on the faces. They're just smiling and they're having a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this, and again for giving the gift of music, but also the opportunity to so many people to do this. And thank you so much for giving this interview, Jack.
Thank you, Irene.
All right. I would like to thank Jack Conway for giving this interview. If you would like to find out more about Jack's New Horizons Band of Cincinnati, please go to newhorizonsbandcincinnati.org. Music for this podcast by Mary Riddle. Swag on. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Music Forever. If you are interested to be interviewed for this podcast, please email us at nimapodcast@gmail.com. That is NHIMA podcast@gmail.com. See you next time.